Feelings don't matter when I'm with you. My dreams come true when I kiss you. We only got one little issue. I don't ever wanna miss you. No more messing around, no more shying away. We're both feeling the same. I want you exclusively. No messing around, no more shying away. We're both feeling the same. I want you exclusively.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I'm an artist from New York.
Keeping up this fun is getting
Okay, yeah, that was the shortest one. That's cool. That was great. It was great. Yeah,
Period.
fantastic. But yeah, Katie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. Started my day off slow but nice.
No, I like that. I like that for you. For some reason, I've been in the habit of starting my day off a little too quickly for my brain to catch up with. Yeah, I'm trying to slow myself down. So
It's
you
a
were telling
lot.
me,
It's hard to keep up with because I'm trying to implement that daily as well. And sometimes I'm just like up and then boom on my phone, or up and then I gotta go out the door. But like,
yeah. You were telling me about your routine and everything, and I was like, the last time we spoke, and I was like, okay, maybe I should like try to implement a routine. And one part of it, because I love acai bowls, I was like,
period.
oh,
I'm
I don't
starting
know,
to get
right?
to love them too. They're fire.
They slap. Oh my gosh, they're so good. And I was like, okay, maybe I could like implement this like every other day thing or everyday thing or something like that. But like the closest one to me is like a 15-minute walk or so. And sometimes I'm too lazy to do that. And then when I try to order on DoorDash, they want to tax me like an extra like
Like
$15.
$10, $15. Yeah, it's not. It don't give.
So eight
It don't
dollars
give.
turns to to like $25.
Right. Right.
But yeah, how normally like throughout your week, how busy are you normally, or is it just like is it normally steady?
As of right now, it's pretty steady. Maybe last month or the last couple months has been pretty productive, pretty busy. I try to kind of have a good morning to myself in the like so that I can get ready for those days because it can demand a lot of my energy and I don't want to snap on the wrong person, especially if they don't deserve it. It's not conducive for me or the other person. So like, I just try to take it easy. But as of right now, it's been steady, easy mornings, and I get to dictate the day however I want.
That's good. That's good. Prioritizing yourself is like super important. It's something I'm learning every single day. How to say no to things I
Yes.
absolutely don't want to do.
Yes.
You know,
It's so hard, especially
yeah,
like if you maybe are involved with a lot of creatives and they're like, oh, just pop out to this, just da 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 da, just da da da. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, friend, I'm out. But what if my body's not for it today? And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just like, I just need to take the day.
yeah.
And when you don't honor that, you really feel that. So like, I'm just trying to
Listening to
honor
your body is crucial. It is crucial. I be having back problems and stuff. You know, me being 7 foot tall and shit.
that.
Back
Okay.
problems there. So it's like for example, yesterday, I had told a homie of mine that I would go with him to like a networking event the day before, and I tell you, when I got back to the crib after those interviews and shit, I was so tired.
Yep.
And the person I interviewed had gave me some weed. Bless her heart. Oh my goodness, bless her heart. So
Right.
she gave me some weed, and like it was like 6 o'clock when I came back, and the event is like at 7, and I was just watching the time as I was rolling, and I was like, Lord, I haven't even ate yet. I don't want to do this. It took so much in me to like fight my anxiety to be like, look, bruh, I can't. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's like it wasn't that like he was gonna be upset because he was cool. He was like don't worry about it, Mercy. It's fine. Da, da, da. I don't understand why it takes like people's like take us so much to prioritize our stuff when we know that it's something that we need to do.
You just don't want to let people down. At least that's my reasoning. I hate letting people down. Well, hating people that I care about, letting them down. Anybody else, I'm learning now to kind of disconnect from that and be like, don't take it personally, you know. But for other people, especially nowadays, I'm trying to be more available for myself and my friends, just because I tend to have a lot of relationships where, well, I have a lot of long distance friendships with people. I'm in New York, I'm in LA, but a lot of my friends are in New York or maybe Miami, just like other places. We tend to spread out, and that's due to like high school or college stuff, you know, what normal stuff. But like for the friendships that I am in the area with, I'm trying to, you know, let people know whenever I have the capabilities to, that, you know, I'm available, we can pop out. I love spending time with you. Like, I really prioritize this friendship. But being sometimes it's just a little too people pleasy. And it could be incredibly biased if you really like this person, whether that be like intimately, platonically, you just really respect them. Like, I tend to do that to a lot of people I respect. I want to drop almost everything and just hang out with them. But like, do that really give? No, it don't. It defeats the purpose. And like you said, you just end up being burnt, just tired,
burnt out. You know, they was like, oh yeah, come on out with us. You know, we're about to have a great time, and you're sitting there like, oh, I just put on a movie. You know,
I just got comfy on the couch, like the PJs are on, order food, made food, like, am I really trying to step out? Like, I love you, but not tonight.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
I remember you. I remember when we spoke. You told me about like this journey you've been on with, like, you know, better understanding yourself, getting to know yourself, and again, also prioritizing yourself, doing things for you, loving yourself more.
Yeah.
How exactly has that been for you? Because I know I've been on the same journey, and it's quite a roller coaster. Because when you're self-evaluating, there's so many things you never even thought about that you needed to evaluate that starts coming up. So how has that been for you?
It's been a lot. I think when we spoke was when I was really just now coming into being present every day about it, because the self-love journey, it's easy to be glamorized and like not, I think the media does a good job in like painting what it means to self-love and really care for yourself, and not realize that everybody's journey is different, especially with what is going on in your life. So for me, at first, when I was like, oh yeah, self-love, like I really need to focus on myself, it was given the typical, you know, spa days and face masks and all of that, which can definitely help, but that doesn't necessarily address your problems or address what's really going on and what you need to love yourself out of. So at first it was a lot of yappa, a lot of talk, and I didn't really walk my walk. But it took quarantine, it took certain situations in my life where I really had to sit down and say, damn, Katie, you actually need to slow down. Your body's telling you to slow down, for me to really be like, well, shit, okay, let's listen, let's assess, let's breathe and take it day by day. I talk to myself a lot more in my room, in my head. I don't think it's necessarily bad to do so. I think you tap into all your best answers when you talk to yourself. So doing that helps. Connecting with family more, connecting with friends that really care about you more. Just like little things that I have found that brought me joy, and I bring other person joy. I am very much about like symbiotic relationships and making sure that even if you can't like show up 100% all the time, you're able to show up in some way for yourself and your people. So like tapping into those, tapping into my inner child too, like painting, drawing on my clothes now, like just little things that kind of remind me that I'm here and I don't have to be grown all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I can, just be a kid, sit down with myself, cry if I need to, laugh if I need to. Like it's really the little things that add up.
Yeah.
And like being present about that every day. It's hard, definitely, because like I said earlier, sometimes I'll wake up and my phone's right there and I'm like, well, I might as well start scrolling, and 10 minutes turn into 20 to 30 to an hour and you're like, fuck, I'm still in
Yeah.
bed. But as long as I'm able to somewhat be cognizant of that, and it's hard
Mm-hmm.
too because I think part of self-love is holding yourself accountable, and that's the hardest thing to do when you don't want to address your problems all the time. Especially for me, like sometimes I don't want to hear myself saying, oh girl, you need to focus on that, or oh, you need to fix that, and we needed to fix that like from weeks ago. I don't need to hear that sometimes, but sometimes they need to be addressed. Otherwise, how we really gonna
Mm-hmm.
move forward?
And like, who knows you better than yourself?
Right.
You know,
Realizing
I
that and kind of owning that is
yeah,
like the hardest but the best thing, for sure.
yeah. I find myself talking to myself all the time, and
Period.
I'm not ashamed of it. Man, I talk so loudly to myself in my head, and then
Right.
whatever else is the consensus, then I might say it out verbally. You know, because it's like I get it's like it has this stigma of like someone being crazy because they're talking to themselves, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
yada yada. But it's like, again, who knows you better than you? And then sometimes when you have like certain thoughts and stuff, there's so many of them that you're unsure which ones are like valid until you
Exactly.
say it and you can hear it and be like, wait,
Yes.
okay, that makes sense. You know, maybe I should have addressed the situation differently. Maybe I should,
Exactly.
prioritize myself in these areas. Be like, you know what, Mercy, do better. Mercy, you should have. Come on, like
Exactly. For
we
real.
talked about this thing. Because it's like if you don't check yourself, no one else will. Because honestly, if someone else tries to check us, we're either gonna get defensive or like not take their advice in totality. Because the one
Exactly.
thing we keep telling ourselves is, you don't know me better than me,
Mm-hmm.
so why would I listen to you more than I listen to myself?
Mm-hmm.
So it's better to hear it from you than have to hear it from other people and everything, and it gets hectic there.
Exactly.
So
But at
yeah,
the same
I
time,
definitely.
like, I think it's also important to realize that we were born, especially, I mean, of course, every generation has, but especially our generation, we were born into a very fucked up world. So there are a lot
Yeah.
of things that we have to unpack. Family trauma, trauma within ourselves, this world, like I said, once again, pretty messed up things are happening every day that makes me not want to go
Generational
outside. So, like, also talking to yourself with grace and giving yourself grace every day is something that I'm struggling with, but I'm slowly letting go of, because how I don't if you yelling at yourself all the time, also that's not gonna work. I'm not gonna listen to myself either. Like,
Yep.
especially if you know that there's a recurring problem that you have to address. I don't know. Sometimes yelling at yourself and saying, "Oh, you should have addressed this so long ago," and just facing yourself with a type of aggressiveness that doesn't need to be had. Like it's not necessary. It
Because
like
you want no one else to talk to you like that.
exactly.
What I had to realize about myself is that you only receive what you give to yourself, and that's it. If you think negatively, you will receive negative things. If you talk negative to yourself, you will receive specific people that will speak those words to you just from a
Exactly.
different party. You
Yep.
know, you'll attract people that represent who you are currently in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you prioritize talking to yourself nicer, or even when you're correcting yourself, you acknowledge the things that like that you are capable of doing, and this is why what you did is incorrect,
Yes.
because we know what we are capable of doing. You know,
Exactly.
um, so yeah, and giving yourself grace is something I preach all the time. Allowing yourself patience, because I've given friends, family so much time and patience to be nicer or kinder to me, You know, I've given them so much, but like, why can't I do it to myself?
To yourself, exactly.
It's always harder.
It's
Yeah, it
always
always
harder
seems
when you
harder to properly love self.
always,
You know,
always, and
it makes
like
it makes it makes no sense to me.
we're like the most important. Like, how else are we gonna contribute to the world that we need to if we don't,
Mhm.
do it to ourselves the best? Like,
Yeah.
that's so counterintuitive.
Hmm.
So yeah, exactly.
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. I've recently been doing pretty decent in that area, but only because I just stopped caring about the things that I can't control and
Yes,
only worry about self.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Acceptance, man, acceptance is like so important in everyone's life. Like the moment you literally accept everything that you can't control, like if it has anything to do with anyone else, you can't control it.
Period.
Anything, whether it's a
Period.
partner or whether it's work or whether it's anything outside of that, if you're like, I couldn't have changed this no matter how much I would have tried. And once you realize it, was like, wow, wait, okay, it was out of my hands this whole time. Why am I stressing?
Yep. Exactly.
Why am I creating scenarios in which I could have done something, but you didn't do that, which means there's no way you could have done it because that person didn't think to do it.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
this-
And in situations that you can't control, just make sure that you're doing your best. If you do your
exactly.
best, if you put your best foot forward, and that's all that you could do, if you succeed with flying colors, boom, you did your best. And if that best also produces, not so great results, you tried your best. That's all you could do.
And that's all you could have done.
That's all you could have
So
done.
why worry about things that you should have done?
Exactly.
Because if you should have done it, you would have done it. Point blank. Period. You know,
Period.
I was talking to the person I was interviewing yesterday's sister, because she told me this story about like something that something that happened, and she gave someone a piece of her mind, and she was questioning how she went about doing that, and I was like, first and foremost, never apologize for how you feel,
Period.
right? Because in that moment, the words you said are words that you've been pondering, that you've been festering over for a long
For a
time,
while.
and because you said it, that's how you felt. So
Mm-hmm.
don't apologize for that. Now, I do understand wanting to work on how you approach the situation, you know, how you went about saying it, not the feelings, but how you went about saying it. I get that one,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's like when it comes to like expressing yourself and who you are, that's the only thing you can control. So I would rather you express yourself to the fullest than sitting here and mustering over something that's just gonna make you more upset.
Exactly. It's not worth it,
Does not.
y'all. It's not worth it. It's not.
Yeah, it makes zero sense to me, and it's something I'm working on all the time. You know,
So, for sure.
it is.
It's a constant battle. I don't think we'll ever, because we're human, I don't think the problem will ever go away. Maybe it will, like years down the line, or if you're really, really, really eager about curing that shit. But
Yeah,
also realizing that a lot of the problems that we face, we're gonna have to face for the rest of our lives, or a
for the
good
rest of our
chunk.
lives.
Like,
Hmm.
you better buckle down and get ready for the ride. Like, this shit's gonna happen every day for the next week, for the next month, for the next year, for the next 2 years, for the next 5 years, for the next, like however long it needs to take. However long. I,
What I realize is that the events don't get easier,
mm-hmm.
right? The actual event of things don't get easier, but what does get easier is how I address them,
Yes.
which then ends up making the entire process go a lot smoother,
Right.
which then in comparison makes the events easier.
Exactly.
You see how weird that is? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can get into a really rough situation with a really close friend of mine, and I could act so crazy. I could be so angry, like, "Grr, I hate you. You're this, that, and the third, whatever." Now, after that situation works out and does this whole thing, I can get into that same situation with someone else, and now I'm acting differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not coming to the situation with anger or anything. The situation could be much worse. But because I learned how to digest my feelings properly, and then I address this one, I'm not as stressed anymore.
Period.
But if the situation is worse though. So how does those two things operate? It doesn't really make sense. But
Right.
that's
It
how
never
life is, you
does.
know?
But
Oh yeah. How do you typically how do you manage all of these like realms you're in your life, you know? When it comes to like being a musician and when it comes to being a great friend or being a great person to yourself or just like being an adult, how do you manage those things in your head? And then also having to worry about your anxiety and whether or not, you know, your ADHD might come out or whatnot. How do you manage those things?
good question. I kind of I think I pick and choose every day what needs more priority and what energy I can give towards what today or that day I should say. I think it helps if there are specific projects that I need to um finish. I'm realizing that maybe I am a project oriented person and that if there are certain deadlines that I need to finish, like certain things that I need to do relating to my music or um, something in my art that I have to finish, I'm more likely to be like, okay, let me put my energy towards this right now, get this done, finish this, and then I'll deal with other things later. Sometimes I do have to divide my energy and my attention amongst being being a musician and being a good friend certain days, just
Yeah.
depending on um, what my friends need. And um, obviously, it's not like, oh, I'm catering to my friends' needs all the time for sure. Not that, but if my friend comes to me that day and is like, listen, friend, some shit happened and I have to get it off my chest, I'm going to lend an ear because I like listening to my friends and making sure that they have that because I know that they would do that for me at the end of the day. And they
Yeah.
just need somebody to vent to in that moment in time.
And I'm pretty
Um,
sure it's not that often where they're like, look, I need this
right,
right now.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, okay, yeah, what do you need, you know? Um, I think that it can also be difficult to navigate all of the realms, just like depending on the day that I have, depending on if my day was too demanding, like if a session was too demanding, or I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed today and it's just like mentally I'm not there. And so it's very hard to therefore navigate everything else in my life for the day.
Right.
But um just getting into my little routines, like how I make tea in the morning, for some reason that really helps me ground myself and
The
talking to,
process alone
you know,
does.
the process of, you know, putting the water in the kettle and, oh, it's whistling. Time to go put the tea in the bag. And like, I'm now finding joy in those little things and like talking to myself in the shower and praying in the shower. Um, that like the feeling of like washing myself up and then having that like wash off my back, being able to visualize that and have like um to also think about like my worries for the day washing away, like trying to be
That's so
very
important.
intentional about that visual. And you know, of course it doesn't alleviate everything, but it helps my mental be prepared for whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
um just like little things like those, I'm really trying to get this little mind, this little noggin more powerful and just like more imaginative. And
Yeah.
um you know, you're whatever you put your mind to, you can do. And so my mind can help me to determine today I got a lot of shit, but I'm strong enough to handle it. Or today I got a lot of shit and wow, I'm weak as hell. So this is going to be the most terrible day of my life. Like your mind
Yeah.
is so powerful and you are so capable of training it to shape your narrative for the day. So just being really intentional about that. Like,
Absolutely. I would the thing that I've been like working on myself in regards to being present is that I'm working on training my brain to view every single moment or every single like thing as a
mm-hmm,
moment in time,
mm-hmm,
right? Like a singular moment in time. so that because I think a lot. I think
Yes.
so,
Yes.
so much about so many things, so many scenarios, whatever. But when I think about, as in like this interview, as like this is a moment in time, focus on this moment in time. If I'm making tea, focus on making the tea. You know,
Yes.
if I'm just sitting on the couch not doing anything, focus on this because this is a moment in time. The moment someone calls me, that moment has stopped, and this
Mm-hmm.
is another moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I just break down my day like that
Mm-hmm.
so that everything isn't always crowding around me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I
Yes.
can't take it. It's overwhelming. Um, it just allows me to be as present as possible. And I feel like out of everything that I've been learning about myself recently, that's been the most beneficial for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because something I've gotten to know about myself is that I get so overwhelmed, not about the events, but about how the events could possibly turn out.
Yeah. Yes. I'm thinking of every single possible scenario. Like, why am I?
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know. I think it helped. Well, in some ways, I think it helps if I'm able to think about everyone, so I'm prepared for every situation. But also, why do we
But you're
go?
never actually prepared for every
No.
situation because it's
Right.
like it's so crazy because it ends up like the situation that like because I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about 100 million different type of scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
but the one that I managed to not think about is the one that happens.
You're right.
You
You're
know,
so right.
every time, every time. So like I call myself preparing for things, because you can prepare for like logical things, like shit that always happens no matter what. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you got to pay rent this much. Oh, I can prepare to pay rent.
Right.
But in regards to like situations with things that are unpredictable, like people, because rent is every single like day, like like this specific day every month.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can count on it. But when it comes to people, people are so unpredictable. So how do I recall myself trying to figure out every single situation with others when they have their own life and they can control themselves? So
Yes.
I'm just stressing myself out for no reason because the thing that I didn't even think about ends up happening. So I'm like,
Same.
damn, spent all that time for nothing.
For nothing. For nothing. Nah, I
For
lost
nothing.
some time and we still stressed. So what do we need to do now? What's going on?
What did I
Like,
accomplish? You know?
it's not worth it.
I don't know, G. But
I don't know, G. For real. It's like you pick and choose your battles for sure. And just
yeah,
realizing too that time is not as linear as the life that we live every day. Like you said, like kind of saying like this is a moment in time, it stopped, I have to divert my attention to this now, but maybe you have to go back into that moment in time, like you got to go back to that tea
right.
after that phone call, like
Just keep on separating them. You
exactly.
know,
And
don't
it's
mush them together.
exactly, it's kind of hard to think about too, just because I think when the human mind starts to think about, things beyond our bubble or things that seem more intangible than our daily lives, we're like, what the hell is even that? I don't even want to think
Yeah.
about that. Like, that's scary. I like it brings fear in us to think
Mm-hmm.
that there are other lives that are being lived at the same time as us. There are other events happening while we're sitting here having this conversation. And
Right.
our deception of time is also our not our deception of time, our perception of time is
Mm-hmm.
deceptive just because like
Yeah.
how we measure it, of course it adds value to our day, it helps us to add structure to our lives, but that's not how it's always revolving.
Yeah.
So
How it all plays out.
just keeping those things in mind, I think, and just knowing that I can't do anything with that information other than like just change how my mental is now that I know
Mm-hmm.
that information. When you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And um, applying that to my life, I've been so much more calmer. Like I'm realizing that there's a certain amount of level-headedness and confidence that I have now, even when I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like
Right.
we gonna figure it out regardless.
Mhm. Regardless.
Regardless, we gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna be okay. I promise.
Yeah.
So like,
Because you always are.
period. So let's just
Yeah.
figure out the steps to get there. You will be okay at the end. It's just navigating that how. That's always the
Yes.
most uncertain thing. But like, you'll be all right.
This is the portion of the whole shebang bang where
Mm-hmm.
I step away and you just talk to the camera about whatever the hell you want to talk about. It can be as long as you want or as short as you desire it to be.
Hmm.
You can take your moment and you can literally start talking whenever you're ready. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
what do I want to talk about? Um. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. Maybe I'll talk about like not limiting yourself. I guess we're I don't know. I feel like I've been talking very vaguely, but also specifically, just because I know what my situations are. But um, when sometimes when you are in your head, sometimes when you're in your head and when you're in your room, just like thinking about all the things you could be doing, um, we tend to be scared of how good we are. Well, I should say I tend to be scared of how good we may be at something or how bad we may be at something. Um, I'm scared of looking like a fool sometimes. I'm scared of not succeeding in what I do just because I feel like a lot of the times in my life, whenever I do something for the first time or first few times, I get it or I learn quickly. And that's a thing, that's a skill that's helped me navigate a lot of my life. Like if I'm able to get it once, we can learn the shit quick and I can maybe even master it if I want. Probably not necessary, but I'm capable of doing a lot of things. So why do I in that same breath limit myself and try not to do things if I know it's gonna make me look foolish for a hot minute? Like, why am I so scared of making mistakes? I think realizing that has helped me to finally get back into creating content more consistently again. There was a while where I think my relationship with social media and my relationship with my Instagram, especially when it comes to singing, has been a roller coaster of one. Like I when I first started Instagram, it was like primarily focused on singing, didn't even show my face because my mom was not about it. She was just like, um, you know, I want you to show your singing and your gift and not your face. Like I don't want people to focus on that. So I started making videos just singing, my camera facing the ceiling and I'm just singing and doing my gift. I get better and I get better at it. And along the way, I'm learning about GarageBand and eventually Logic, um, where I can record myself better. I can learn to produce. I'm getting into vocal engineering and like just learning all of these new skills that I'm adding to my arsenal. And then once I learn them skills, I'm like, okay, well, I think that's it. For some reason, like there's a mental block from helping me get to learning the basics of something to becoming an expert at something. Maybe just because I know that along the way I'm gonna have to fail. There are a lot of things that like I'm just learning this skill for the first time. Why would I not misstep a couple things just because it's custom. It not custom, but it's human for you to do so. But once I finally realized that like on the other side is me being a master. Like on the other side is me being a vocal engineer, producer, being more adept at Logic, being a master at my craft and being a master at all of these little skills that I'm learning, like, why are you letting a little bitty mistake stopping you from being a bad bitch? Like, be a bad bitch and go through the trials. But bad bitches make mistakes sometimes. We don't have to admit that, but like, bad bitches make mistakes. As long as you are able to get yourself up again after said mistake, like, nobody's even gonna look at the mistake. The rebound's more important. Like, how you bounce back will be more important, and the thing that everybody pays attention to the most. So why are you stopping yourself from that? Like, stop limiting yourself. Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
At first I didn't know what I was gonna say, and then words just kept on rambling out, and then I was like, oh no, yeah, I found it. No, yeah, I found it.
See, and that's the thing that I'm always preaching about, like, mental health in general, is that we all know exactly where, like, what at our core is the thing that's bothering us. You know, the thing that's like flaring up our anxiety, the thing that's consistently at the root of everything that's like can be seen as an issue with us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you this entire time just spoke about inadequacy. You know, you spoke about wanting to be something, but being afraid of the outcome, which is something we were talking about this entire time, you know? Being afraid of the idea of something being perceived incorrectly, because first and foremost, the first person that is approached by it is you.
Mm-hmm.
You were just talking about, you know, you got to talk to yourself because the only person that knows you best is yourself. So if you're sitting here being like, oh, I should probably stop because I just messed up, or like, oh, I'm not doing this the way I wanted to, yada yada.
Right.
What ends up happening? You keep messing up. You know, nothing comes out. You know, and then it gets even worse because now you're like, oh, I'm not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how that works,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So because you're restricting yourself from like putting out things, or you're restricting yourself from realizing that what you're doing is actually good, you never put anything out, which then causes you to be like, I'm not doing anything at all.
Right.
So you start overworking yourself, and then the same
Right.
thing just happens over and over.
Right.
You know? So it's crazy that whenever I listen to people speak, and I'm like, okay, just go ahead and say whatever you want to talk about, do whatever you want to do. They typically talk about the thing that's like right there on their mind consistently all the time, but they don't address it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you and I commend you. And you know, I gave you all your props when I saw you in person, but just in general, I always tell people I only reach out to people that I feel like are like really, really passionate, you know? Like the moment I see them, like it don't matter what you do, you know? It doesn't. It's just it's a gut feeling.
Yes.
I always trust my gut. You know, and I think you're an amazing person.
Thank you. So
I
are
know
you.
you're a fantastic friend. Oh, stop it. Okay, it's not about me. But yeah, I know that you're an amazing friend, and I know that you're going to be absolutely way more astonishing than you are right now in the next 2 years. So that's why I told you we're going to have the second interview in like a year or two or whatever. Because I love watching growth. I love watching progress. There's just nothing on TV that can match watching someone go from an infant in the way they view themselves to being someone who can be viewed as a master based on their perception of themselves.
Yes.
It's
Chef's kiss. It's Chef's kiss. Yeah. And like realizing that too, and seeing my growth over the years from when I realized that I wanted to do music and saw all the blockages in my way. For some reason, like when I was younger, I was so much more fearless and so much more set on what I wanted. And the moment that other people's opinions started coming in the picture, I was just like, no. Because like when I was younger, realizing that art and music was the thing that really helped me get my message and myself out there, nothing would stop me from chasing it. Like when I just entered high school, like I was an education girly. Like I got top grades at first because that was what, you know, got the praises. That's what my parents wanted. You know, as immigrant parents, Jamaican parents, you want nothing but the best for your child. So
Yes.
if good grades is gonna help them achieve that, then you better get them straight A's, and that's what I did. But after a while, it like it took away my love for learning, just because it I after a while I just did what my parents loved, and I did what made my parents happy, and I did what was guaranteed to give me success, whereas music was something that was a lot more of a gamble. Like, not everybody makes it, and not everybody is able to take the steps like how I've taken to get where I'm at. So when I was in high school and finally found resources where I was like, oh wait, this music shit is lit. Let me tap into this. This is actually so much more fulfilling. Nothing stopped me from being at the top of, like, one of the faces of the music theater department. Like, nothing stopped me from being in those groups and attending those camps and getting me started, getting me like really involved and passionate. Fast forward a couple years later, I got some accolades under my belt. I'm in a girl group now, Citizen Queen. You know, there are a lot more eyes on me. So I'm just, the pressure is getting worse. Like, I'm feeling pressure upon pressure to be an artist, a good artist, a good looking artist, just a lot of things. And you know, I listened too much to the outside and started stunting my own growth. I stopped posting the covers. Like, I stopped really tapping into myself and continuing the growth that I needed. And
Yeah.
wow, why did I do that? Because now realizing that, and like these past year and a half, couple years, but really the past year, realizing that I should not stop that. Like, that is a part of the story of being a great. That is this part of the story of being a star. And not
Yes.
even on like some boastful shit, but I am a star, and this gift has been given to me for a reason. Same way it's been given to you for a reason. It's been given to all of these creatives, all of these artists for a reason. There is no reason, therefore, for you to stunt that, because like a star gotta, the light gonna shine. How you gonna dim the shine? It's gonna shine regardless. How you gonna dim the shine, babe? Like, don't get in your own way. And I've gotten in my own way so many times, and it's just like not gotten me anywhere. Literally, I've been stuck. So once I got out of that, and I was like, oh wait, I maybe need to tap back into myself and expand again, and ask for help, and you know, tap into myself, and also look for other creatives that are like-minded like me, and we can grow together. Like, the road doesn't have to be lonely. And you know, seeing my friends do what they do best has allowed me to tap back in and see what I do best and go accordingly. And now I can say that we're all properly and healthily growing together and learning every day. And it's a beautiful process to see what we get to do every day and what helps us grow and be the stars that we need to be. Like, it's really a beautiful thing. And I can't believe that this little noggin of mine was gonna get in the, like, I was gonna allow my little head to get in the way of me expanding my gift and finding others who
Remember
have
that.
that gift, and we can share our gifts and shine bright together. Like,
Remember that.
come on now. And I will.
Please don't
Thank you.
forget that.
I will. Because
Yeah.
it
Remember that feeling. Remember that disgust at the fact that you allowed yourself to do that. Because I think people tend to forget
yeah.
that, oh, that's something I don't want to do it again. So remember that any moment when you're second guessing something that you're like, oh, I think this is good. But then, well, everyone, oh, nope, stop.
Yeah.
what? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you keep messing with us just like last time. We're gonna talk for 2 hours. But so because typically these virtual ones end up going to 45. I don't know how it happens because literally when I'm in person,
Mm-hmm.
it's able like it goes like around at the most like 29 minutes, and I'm able to cut it down to like 24 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I post all 45 minutes of these,
Period.
because it is what. But no, I really do appreciate you. You're a homie. All of you guys I interview end up being homies anyway, you know.
No, you interview good
And
people. You really like. You're really
do my
curating.
best.
You
Yeah.
are, and you are. You're curating such a good environment of people that I hope end up being really good, like long-term friends. Because
Oh
you're
no,
really
yeah,
cool.
no. That's
Like,
that's my goal. That's my goal with the whole I'm better in person thing.
mm-hmm,
I'm only interviewing people that I feel like are similar to each other,
mm-hmm,
so that in a way I can figure out how to bring you all together. You know what I'm
period,
saying? Not because you do, not because of what you do, but because you are artists and that's how you relate. Period. You know what I'm
period.
saying? You're artists and that's how you relate. You're good people. You're genuine people. All that shit. We need more communities like that, and that's my goal. But it's enough about me. Um, I want to appreciate you, and I want to appreciate everyone for watching and for sticking around because 46 minutes, you know, it's a long time.
That's a long
Um,
time. If you stick around this long, you really a G. You real.
yeah, yeah, it's a long time. But yeah, I want everyone out there to know that regardless of when you see this, you are magical. Like she said, you are a star. You know, and stars have to shine regardless of what happens.
Period.
And you are enough. You know, adequacy will always be judged by your own interpretation of yourself.
Mm.
That's period. Um, so yeah, this has been a conversation with,
Katie.
and yeah, peace, love, and
Happiness. I don't know.
literally peace, love, and mercy. Peace,
Peace.
peace, love. I
Love.
can't even do that. You know what? Peace, love, and mercy. Thank you so much. Uh, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for
Okay,
having me. You too.
of course.
Minutes don't matter when I'm with you. My dreams come true when I kiss you. We only got one little